Somebody wrote to me, this is about fuel and aeroplanes, but I can't show the name and a few things because of who they are, where they are, what they are, and the whole thing like that. So I'm just going to say what they wrote to me. I will tell you the secret. The air is 73% of nitrogen. The compressor breaks the molecular force of oxygen and nitrogen of the air. Take a look at how the commercial nitrogen generator works. And then this nitrogen becomes the fuel for the combustion chamber. Just to explain, the air flows in and then it hits this compressor. It's to separate the water so that the rest then needs to be compressed as well once you take the water out. And then it needs to go through filters, and then it needs to be heated up and then go through these membranes. And then basically all the fast gases get sort of taken out. I suppose that's that one there. And then they want the slow gases. So basically aeroplanes are doing the same thing as this generator. Maybe not when taking off and landing, but when they're cruising.
Please feel free to pass this video along to whoever you might think would be interested. I'm sure that ordinary airline fare payers will have something to say about the cost of the fuel being the majority of the ticket price. Time to start asking some pertinent questions to people high up in the airline industry.
Has anybody watched Spacebusters? It's this video here. Important info for all air travellers, jet fuel hoax. So that's a really good video that everybody should watch there, and I'm just going to put a tiny weeny bit in because obviously it's this person's work, and I have asked Spacebusters if he'd come on Sun and Moon, but let's just see, because not everybody likes hangouts. But yeah, just to put this in with this little video to show that yeah, it's just ridiculous, all of it.
This is what is happening when the jet engines are in cruise mode. They are running purely on compressed air, and the contrails are water vapor being ejected out from the engines. While small amounts of fuel are needed to get the jet engine up to speed, when in cruise mode the engines use very little to no fuel whatsoever. We are being charged huge amounts for fuel that doesn't exist. It's not needed to fly these amazing machines. All that's needed is the most abundant thing that we've been given: air.
A free energy machine hidden to humanity. The fuel is only necessary to start up the compressors of high revolutions, and once in high revolutions, the fuel in the air that burns nitrogen at high temperature inside the combustion chamber, started by fuel at the beginning. This is the secret for high levels only. This person, but I could lose my job. Ground crew and all the people involved does not know the truth because they keep feeding fuel to the aeroplane, and they believe that this is the only source of power. The pilots will not notice that because they see with their own eyes how the aircraft is being fueled. In all aircrafts there is a clock of time flight which controls the indicators of fuel level. There is no pilot in the world that could try to see what happens if he ignores the fuel level indicator. This is my gift for humanity, to tell the truth. Thank you very much for that person, who I can't say, but thank you so much. Hello everybody, found myself making another little video. Yes! Fuel on planes, how they've told us, is a lie. I came across this person here through someone else. Someone sent me a video of him. His name is Vickor Schauberger. Thank you, Aaron. Now, he had done many experiments on hydrofusion. It was limitless, the free energy. We already had Tesla and free energy. He was into levitation and into compressed air. So you can stop any of this to look at it. I don't profess to be the best narrator here, but I just wanted to share with people on the channel that it is true that they have lied to us. And all those people that called me an idiot, you know, for doing what I did on the other videos I did. Now, he got really involved and had understood the core nature of the world. He noticed how birds flew, how they moved, and that they used hyperbolic centripetal spiral forces. Well, that was quite a mouthful. I hope that everybody understood what I meant. And it was air flow. He noticed how the air flew through their feathers with this updraft, and the energy that it propelled the birds forwards and upwards. And he developed an engine that did the same thing. So it's a bit strange that suddenly we come across him after all this stuff about plane hoax and everything, and then there you are. He did all this in the early 1900s, and he worked with Hitler, and then basically I think the Americans got him, but he didn't want to work with them, and he went back to Austria, and then 5 days later he was found dead. And yet this man was an amazing man. Imagine if he'd lived longer, what he would have been able to have done. You know, we already had Nikola Tesla, and he had understood all that because there was so much free energy. Oh, look at that. I don't care what they say. Oh dear, that's such a great quote. You can go back and read it. Anyway, he seemed a really nice guy, and he was amazing. So he had already made compressed engines. It's just disgusting, isn't it? You can go and find this person out yourself. Vickor Schauberger. He died in about 1958. I thought it was 55, but on here it says 1958. Obviously when he didn't want to be with the Americans. Now I know what I know. It's very suspicious, his death, isn't it? And given a bit more time, like 10 more years, what he would have been able to have done. Anyway, you can go and look this up for yourselves. Thank you so much. And I do understand, obviously, that some people have worked in this industry. We had Don, who's building his own aeroplane, and also Vinny TV, also is an engineer. And I hear everything. But when I look at this picture of this aeroplane wing, the tanks are quite small then in this plane, aren't they? When you actually see that a good half of the wing here is actually blades, not blades, rudders, and all separating out. I mean, they can only be feeder tanks in there. I mean, there's also electrics and things in here, so yeah, again, I'm like, wow, so where are these tanks? And then thank you to Robin Williams, who put this link into the post of the compressed air. If you look at a cross section of a fuelage liner, of a light airliner, the part where you're sitting, you're right to wonder where on earth there's still place to put fuel tanks for this thirsty beast. So wait for it. There. And also what it says, how pressurization works. Outside air continually enters engine where it is compressed by the compressor. The outside air gets very hot as it becomes pressurized. This air flowing through ducting in the wing. It is further cooled by the main air conditioning units inside the cabin. The cooled air then flows to a mixture chamber. Cooled outside air then mixed with a recirculated air that has been cleaned with high efficiency filters. The filters are similar to those used in critical ward hospitals. Really amazing that the aeroplane just seems to be completely working on compressed air, either way you look at it, in the cabin to pressurise it, and these engines are working with compressed air. So they obviously don't need very much fuel then, do they, is my point. He says that they're linked to the compressors, the engines are linked to the compressors in the aeroplane. It's hard to get your head round when they say that there are tanks in there for the engines on the plane. It's hard to get your head round, isn't it? How big these tanks are in here. They can't be that big, can they? I mean, we all just imagine that the wings are something solid, but as you can see, they're not. They're flaps. I mean, you can see. This is, look. Where are the tanks? Now, this is a diagram of a 757. Left fuel tank, centre tank, right main fuel tank. Do you see that? It's put on the whole wing. That's what a 757's wing looks like when the flaps are working. That doesn't resemble that. Does this resemble what that picture's showing you? No, it doesn't. See, this says, I'm going to show you by taking it over there, that this is the fuel tanks of a 757. Yeah, right. So the fuel tanks take up most of the wings. The tank system of a 747. Well, this is a wing of a 747. Hmm. 747. A 747. A 747. A 747. I mean, look, I can see through here. And all these flaps move. You can see right down to the engine. So where are the tanks? And only a small there then. I just don't see that looking like those diagrams they've shown us. Yeah, I'll have to leave it with you guys. Looks too small up here really for an, for tanks, doesn't it? Look at that. Where's the tanks? Look, it's only that thick. Anyway, so what do you think then, guys? I know that we don't have any, like, none of us here have any definitive proof of what's really happening in an aeroplane and where the tanks are and everything and how much they're really putting on. And, you know, we have guests come on our panel, Lady Co-Pilot, and she's pretty sure that the petrol goes in or the fuel goes in because they watch in the plane the tanks filling up, so forth like that. So whatever's happening there, you know, Lady Co-Pilot is a lovely lady and a friend of mine, so I'm not doing this to upset her. But I wrote to this truck driver and he said, yeah, use it all you like. But so I am going to use his video so just to explain how difficult it is for a lorry to carry fuel and what it is when he's only going so many miles an hour on land. So here goes, and then make your mind up whether you think there are thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons in tanks with baffles in it. Anyway, this is DW Red. He is a lorry driver and he's going to be talking about how difficult it is to comprehend with the slosh in a tanker, his tanker.
What 4,500 gallons of product is in that back wall? That was the product in the back wall. Now it just got loose. There it is, hit the pin. It's really hard to show in one of these videos what that thing will do. This little computer you see here, that's my log book. I don't do a log anymore. It's all paperless. It's all electronic. The only time I have to do anything is if I stop, I just go into the menu screen and put myself either off duty for lunch or on duty. And then that's it. You hit the comment box, click on a comment, like a post-trip, pre-trip, TDI check, tire check, you know, stuff like that. And then hit OK. When you take off, you don't touch nothing. It automatically knows you're moving by a GPS built into it. This is the actual navigation screen. I have my GPS over on the windshield you can't see. But that's the GPS screen you see right there. I am going to, when I stop up here, I'm going to show you what it feels like if you don't plan your stops right, or if you feather or pump the brakes coming up to a stop. I'm going to show you the effects of that. And the reason I'm doing that with this load is because this is actually a pretty slippery load. You can't imagine, it's almost like a big ocean wave back there. It can get pretty nasty. I mean, you'll think somebody slammed into the back of you at a stoplight. Damn sure don't want to slam on your brakes on a curve like this one right here. You have to be slowed down before you get to it. I'm going to hit the brakes and let off of them for a second. And hit the brakes again. And then when I stop, you're going to feel this. That was the product. that wasn't nothing else but 4,500 gallons of product slamming into that back wall, making you think we just got hit by a damn freight train.